it says that no GRE is required from graduate admission.
Okay.
And I also did want to note that the university does not have any application fee as well. So applying to this university is free of charge.
Okay. Okay. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Ayopele, and today we have
Winnie Bush.
And she has been on our channel previously, and it was such an amazing conversation that we had the last time. And she's back again today to give us again valuable information. And today we are going to be discussing about universities that waive GRE. We all know nobody wants to write GRE. It's a scary exam. So she's going to tell us about universities that waive GRE, and before that, she's also going to tell us a lot of things that we have to know prior to applying. Winnie, the floor is yours. So first of all, what are the requirements? What are the general requirements?
So thank you so much for having me again. It's amazing. It's incredible to be back. So I appreciate it. So in regards to requirements, to start, I wanted to just describe what the GRE is. So the GRE stands for Graduate Record Examination. And typically for GRE, it's made up of is it quantitative? They say it's like mathematics, English, critical thinking kind of skills sort of thing. Typically, the people who write GRE are for people who are pursuing their master's degree or their master's degree or a PhD program in the United States. So those are the people that write GRE. There are some ways that you're able to run away from the GRE, and we'll talk about those ways a little later. But Dr. Ayo had said I should talk about some of the requirements. So some of the big requirements, for one, is like a transcript. When you're applying to a university, you need a transcript. And I know a lot of people what's a transcript? So for those who don't know, a transcript is basically something, it's like a full record of all your scores or your examination, like things you've taken. Exactly. So at the end of the semester, you get A in English, B in mathematics, whatever those scores are. So when they add all of that together, it gives you your full transcript. So when you're applying to the United States for a master's or for a bachelor, whatever program you're applying for, they do ask you for a transcript. If you're applying for a bachelor's program, you'll basically be getting transcripts for your high school or your secondary school. If you're applying for a master's, you'll be getting a transcript from your bachelor's program, and it just lists out all the different courses that you took. So that's the number one requirement. And then another requirement that a lot of international students will have to kind of figure out is what's called the English Proficiency exam. And the English Proficiency exam is done, there's so many different schools do it differently. Some schools do it in the form of a TOEFL. That's something you have to provide. Other schools might require you to write, I think it's called the ELT, is the IELTS. And then other schools might even accept what's called the Duolingo as well. So those are the three most popular ones, but it's basically a test of English, is to make sure that you're able to speak English correctly, you're able to write English correctly. And then for another one, I guess for people who are, if you're pursuing a bachelor's program, typically they'll ask you for an SAT. But for the master's folks, some schools might, instead of a GRE, they might ask you for a GMAT. So the GMAT, I typically hear of it from people who are pursuing like a master's in business. So business analytics, those kind of things. I hear those people get more of a GMAT. But some other requirements could be like a personal statement, where a lot of schools will give you a topic. So they give you a topic that they want you to write on. Some schools might tell you to pick whatever topic you want to write about. And then lastly, we always hear of letters of recommendation. I feel like that's really important. So exactly. So letters of recommendation is just when you have like a faculty member, like someone who's taught you before, or a staff member or someone you've worked with as well, just write you a letter basically saying, this student is a great student. For me, I always tell them this is when they can brag.
Someone that can tell them now that they've worked with you before.
Exactly. Yes. They can tell your story. Like they can talk about like your work ethic. He comes to work early. He's always he gets the work done. He's someone that's very reliable, like things like that. So those are the kind of things you That's the kind of things like a lot of schools are looking for when they ask for letters of recommendation.
So talking about letters of recommendation, do you recommend they should ensure that the person writing it for them don't just give generic letters of recommendation, because many students just they write the same thing, technically almost the same thing. So
definitely you don't want just a generic letter. And we'll talk about it because a little bit sometimes, like for some schools that like waive things like GRE or waive SAT or waive all this exam or even waive the test of English as a foreign language. So when some schools waive this, it makes it even harder to get into. So it's very competitive. So your letter of recommendation is something that it has to be really strong, it has to be really powerful, it has to be very personalized, so yes, it's very important that you make sure that the person that's writing it for you is not just giving you a generic letter, that is something that's personal to you and to them.
So, and the personal statement as well, like you said, they will give them topic. I used to think personal statement is you writing stuff about yourself, or they are going to give you a topic to
yes, a lot of them will give you a topic. Most of the schools I applied to give you a topic that it's still about yourself, so you're writing about yourself, but they'll just give you a topic to kind of help guide you. Like some of them could be like, tell us about a passion that you have, or some of them could say like, tell us about a moment tell us about a moment in your life that made the most, like something. It's just something very still about you. So it's still about you. So it's very personal in that sense.
Okay. So now many students are going to apply. They would rather prefer to apply to universities that waive GRE because of the fear factor. Now that means it's going to be competitive, right? So how do you stand out as an applicant?
Great question. Standing out, I think, especially for people who are trying to also get funding, I think it's very important that you do whatever it takes to stand out. Some of the ways I think you could stand out, for one, is having good grades. Like if you have the people who have like the A's and the B's, the really good grades, so that because that reflects on your transcript. So that's one way to stand out. Another way to stand out is having a really good personal statement, talking about your experiences and why you chose this particular university, what speaks to you about this university, and how let me rephrase, and how, as a result of you attend this university, you'll be able to make an impact later, or how this aligns with your career goals, things like that. So when you tie it back to not just your present, but also your future as well, how this university is going to help you get to that destination, whatever it is for you, I think it also helps you stand out. And like we already mentioned, having good references as well, that's not generic, is a really good way to stand out. And I would say lastly is having some work experiences. So I know like some Nigerian students, a lot of them, we go through like things like strike. So during that time when they strike, trying to find a job. Exactly. Instead of sitting, even something to volunteer, like maybe some companies don't want to hire you because they don't have the money. A lot of people will take volunteers, so trying to find things like that also makes you stand out. And I think along with work and volunteer experiences, but also making sure that you're diversifying your experiences. So if, let's say, you're a biology student, maybe you do some volunteer, some work experience in the lab, but maybe you join a drama club, or just trying to have different things like this.
Not just in your own field, right?
Yes. So things in your own field, but also outside of your field as well. It shows you as, I always describe it as a holistic person. So it's very diverse. And I think it also helps you in terms of finding assistantships, because sometimes you might go to your department and they'll tell you, oh, we don't have funding for you in your department. But then the other university departments might have and if they're like, oh, she did a volunteer or he did a volunteer opportunity or work experience in this field, they're like, okay, we can hire you, because you have that experience. So while it's good to make sure that you have things
well-rounded,
but it's very important to be well-rounded as well.
So you don't limit your opportunity.
Exactly.
So now we can move to what they're actually here for. The list of universities with no GRE requirements. So now the floor is yours. You can give us.
Thank you. Okay, so before I start, I do have a couple universities that I want us to talk about. But I did want to note something. So for universities, a lot of them, so there are different things. The first one is universities that waive GRE for their entire college. So a lot of universities are like that. Like once you apply to this university, you don't have to submit GRE at all, period.
Okay.
Some universities will say for different programs. So it's like, I think I call them course specific. Okay. So let's say you apply to, let's say Central Michigan University, for example. They might say their English department might say you don't have to submit, GRE, whereas the mathematics department might say you have to submit GRE. So some universities are more course specific in that way. And then there are also universities that are GPA specific as well. So, for example, I attended Kent State University for my master's in higher education administration. And when I applied to them, for those people who had a 3.0 GPA and above, you did not have to submit GRE. Okay. So, whereas like my friend, he was in physics, in the Department of Physics, he was doing a PhD in physics. He had to submit GRE, even though his GPA was above a 3.0. So, those kind of things, I think, is things to keep in mind through this list. But the first university I wanted us to look into is Michigan Tech University. Okay. So for Michigan Tech University, for their GRE requirements, it says that no GRE is required from graduate admission, but some of their programs might require GRE. And I also did want to note that the university does not have any application fee as well. So applying to this university is free of charge.
Okay.
All right, our next university is the University of Wisconsin. So for University of Wisconsin, GRE is waived for some of their programs. And then also they have something called the Open Fair. That's where you go to kind of learn more information about the different programs that they offer. You learn more information about like some of the professors there, some of the research areas that this professor does. So if you attend those programs, if you attend that fair, then you don't also have to pay an application fee as well. All right. And then some more universities. We also have the University of Scranton. I believe that's in Pennsylvania. So GRE is optional for them. For most of their programs, it's a choice. You can decide to submit, you can decide not to submit. They don't really care either way. And the University of Scranton also have free application fee. So $0.00, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, our next university is the University of Alabama. And you guys, I love University of Alabama because it's in the South, so it's not a lot of snow. But for them as well, they waived the GRE for some of their programs. And recently, they actually, right now, they're doing free application week. So if you apply during this week, the application is free. You don't have to pay any application fee. And then we also have the University of Texas Southwestern. So they say their GRE is optional, and it's also waived based on different programs. And I wanted to highlight this university for people who are interested in like biomedical sciences. So any of those sciences that you're interested in, like this university is a really good university to apply to. And it's also free application as well. So you don't have to pay any fee to apply to them.
Okay. So I think we are actually doing no GRE, no application.
No application fees. Yes. And then we also have the University of Dayton. I love University of Dayton. It's actually in Ohio, which is where I live. So for University of Dayton, it's optional for the entire university. You can choose to, you can choose to submit. You can choose not to submit. And University of Dayton has free application for all their applicants as well. And just to let you guys know, like this is all for international students. I know sometimes people are like, is that for American students only? It's all for international students. So if you're from a different country, definitely take a look into these schools. So that was University of Dayton. Our next university is Chatham. We'll have it on the screen because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But Chatham University have no GRE for the entire university, and it's also free application fee as well. And then the last university that I have is the University of Southern Maine, and GRE is optional for them. And then, of course, free application fee.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, so that was the last one I had. But definitely feel free to check out all of the schools. Like I said, GRE is waived fully for the entire university, or it's optional, but the application fee is free. So you don't have to pay to apply to the schools.
Now, for those, because you are also going to get this kind of email. What can I do? Please, how can you help me process all those kind of things, right? Guys, if you're actually looking for someone to help you out, I will recommend Winnie. I'm going to put her email address on the screen. and also Instagram handle. She's tested and trusted. I can recommend her to handle everything successfully. So, please, where can they find you? Your socials.
Yes, so for socials, on YouTube, of course, my name on there is Winning with Winnie Bush, and then on Instagram, it's Study Lens USA. Also, if you go on my YouTube, it'll take you to a lot of these other social media pages, so you don't have to remember them. But I also have I have a Telegram group as well that you can learn. You can catch me on, you can learn from me on there. I just started a WhatsApp group, WhatsApp link, so I'll be able to share that as well, that you can add me on. But the easiest way to find me, I would say, is through email and through Instagram.
So if you want to have personalized contact, any discussion with her, there is a package for consultation, so you can reach out to her and she's going to put you through. And she handles everything about study in the US right from the beginning to the end. So thank you very much for coming, and hopefully this is not the last. We will still have so many other collaboration in the nearest future.
I hope
and
so.
Guys, please click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Please subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.